our defence of the Champions League title.
Mhm.
It sounds strange saying that, the defence, it almost seems that we just took it for a little bit for granted, that it wasn't really big news, but it's just been such a whirlwind of things that have just come so thick and fast, particularly with the Euros. But kick off the defence of the Champions League. I mean, so difficult to say, Craigo, but what are your expectations going into this one? Because when we had to defend one last time, we obviously exited via the group stage, and we can't really be asking seriously to go back to back. Very few teams do that, but we do seem to have a stronger squad than we did when we actually won it. But I suppose sometimes it's just a chance of moments coming together, and it all seems to pan out, and the best sides don't necessarily always win the Champions League. We know that, but are you excited about the prospect of possibly going deep again?
Do you want to know my honest opinion?
Yeah, go on.
I genuinely think we're going to win it again.
Really?
I genuinely think we're going to win it again. And I have a little bit of hesitation in saying that because it can get clipped up and whatever. But I think that there's going to be a couple of teams in the league that are going to be really, really good. And we might be thereabouts, might just miss out on it. But I just have this real thought that the way that we played, again, it's two-legged affairs. None of this home and away goal nonsense anymore. Just deal with 2 games of football. And that's something that I think that we can do. And I think there might be times where maybe we become a little bit unstuck in the league, and we will have the odd game we go, oh, that's terrible. And we will be right up there, right at the end of it. But I have this weird feeling that it will be us again, just because we could potentially afford to put all our eggs in one basket. I think if it's one of those ones where we're going to see, if it's us, Man City, Man United, if it's all going to be up there, we're all going to be fighting, it's all going to be 5 points in it, maybe not. But I think we are going to be a better side this year than we were last year. And I think last year, one thing that we really excelled at is keeping clean sheets and making sure that we are in games. And we did all that without a centre forward. And I think that certain people, am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, whatever, mate. Yeah.
I think people are going to be, the old shit factor is going to come in, because exactly what we did last year is going to kind of come into play again, plus then add in Lukaku. And I think they know that whether they want Lukaku to go and score 2-3 goals a game, which I don't think he's going to do all the time, but if they do want him to score once or twice and then defend and help out in that area, I think people are going to be really struggling to deal with that. And I think people are going to have to come up with ideas to beat Chelsea. And I'm not necessarily sure that a lot of teams can do it. And by the time that you can play the English teams, it might already be too late.
I mean, I'm not sure we'll win it again, but I do think we're very well equipped to go deep into this competition again. You look at the teams across Europe that could win it. Barcelona are in big problems, nowhere near as good as they used to be. Real Madrid are kind of in a rebuilding phase still. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti back, they might do a little bit better, but they're nowhere near as good as they used to be. Yeah. I mean, Bayern Munich are a threat, but they haven't won a Champions League, or they won the Champions League a couple of years ago. But, I feel we can beat them. And then you're looking at it, the Italian sides, Juventus are shocking this season so far at the moment. AC Milan back for the first time in a while. And obviously Inter Milan have lost Hakimi and obviously Lukaku to us. So you look at it and you're thinking, realistically, PSG maybe with Neymar, Messi, Mbappe situation, this could finally be their opportunity. But then you're really looking at it and you think, okay, Chelsea and probably Manchester City. I think Man United haven't got enough quality in the middle of the park. I don't think they've got a good enough manager. But there's not really many other teams that I would say we're in the top 3 favourites to perhaps go and do it again.
Yeah, I think what could be dangerous is, again, teams that could put all their eggs in one basket. So someone like Liverpool, who may not be up there to challenge for the Premier League, as long as they get top 4, they could potentially go on and look to win the Champions League again. But you're looking at teams, and again, I said it before, and I'll say it again: defense wins championships. You look at all the money that PSG have spent, all on forwards. Everyone's a forward. They got Ramos on a free, which is fair enough, but you look at the 2 fullbacks they've got, both go forward. So you're relying on Marquinhos and Ramos to be able to deal with everything that any team might throw at you, which I can't see happening. Got Donnarumma, but Donnarumma got beaten in games in the Euros. Could become a problem for them kind of later down the line. I wouldn't want to put all my eggs in one basket with saying he is going to be the saviour. But, I mean, Bayern Munich are obviously always going to be strong, and they are in that luxury position where the Bundesliga is pretty much wrapped up for them every single season, which is obviously annoying. But I don't look at them and think they're the same force. Again, defensively, they could have problems. Manchester City have got a decent defence, but you look at Walker and Cancelo and everything that's happening with Mendy and whatever. All they want to do is go forward, and it's all about scoring loads of goals. And sometimes I think that they do lack. Liverpool are the one that do kind of like test me, because they've got obviously a decent goalkeeper. They've got Van Dijk. They can go forward. But there's all these teams have potential holes that could be exploited, as do we. But I feel like we're like one or two where there is, I mean, I've rattled off a handful for each team. And I just do think we are going to be one of these teams that just annoyingly gets their way through the competition until it's a problem for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I was just going to get your thoughts on the group. Obviously, we've got Zenit St. Petersburg, who we kick off against tomorrow night. Ironically, the final this year is in St. Petersburg. So could be an omen. Who could be an omen? Who knows? Right. We've got Juventus without Cristiano Ronaldo. Poor start to the season, seems to really be struggling. And then we're also joined by Swedish side Malmo. I mean, what's your thoughts on that group? I mean, it's a group that realistically we should be topping.
Yeah, well, we mullered Malmo, didn't we, in the Europa League, and they're not going to be that dissimilar of the side. So we should be able to see them off quite comfortably. Zenit are a decent side. You know, they're not to be taken as any mugs, but again, if you have any real serious ambitions of winning it, you should be doing both legs over them. Annoyingly, I think our last game in the group is away in St. Petersburg, I think. If you don't have to play a full strength side for that, then why bother? It's going to come down to the two games against Juve. And Juve are, you know, they are struggling this year, but they are a team that could potentially turn it on for one or two games. And then they look at it and go, oh, that season was a massive success. I do think we are good enough to beat them. And I think the Ronaldo factor, you know, was really kind of disproved by Porto last year, who knocked them out. They had the big name players, you know, in Ronaldo and Dybala and whatever, but they shut them down. They shut them down. They didn't really have a look in. And they, again, Porto kind of bullshitted their way through, but they still got through. We don't have to get through against Juve. We need to pick up a draw and a win. And that's something that we can definitely do, you know. And if we get a draw and a win against them, we top the group. And I think it is that simple. There is a handful of groups that have got a couple of tasty sides. So finishing first or second actually might not make a hell of a lot of difference depending on who tops the group elsewhere. Because there are going to be some very tough games in the round of 16. But, you know, if you get a little bit of luck, or, you know, you play a team that maybe shouldn't have got through, or they got through in the weakest group, I think we can move right into the latter stages of it. I really do think we can win this tournament. But the group, for me, should be a walk in the park. It's obviously going to be a tough test against Juve, but it's one that I do think we should be able to deal with.
Yeah, I think last season as well, and me and George discussed this quite a lot, is that, yes, we did outstanding to win it, but I know you've got to play everyone and you can't help the draw, but we were very fortunate with the draw we got along the way to making the final, you know, avoiding the big sides in the other half of the draw. I know we played Atletico Madrid, who really offered nothing. We then obviously had Porto, and then out of the other semi-final, I suppose Real Madrid, no mugs, but it wasn't a great Real Madrid side, but you obviously still got to beat them. So we were helped a little bit there. But I don't fear us, you know, drawing a big side in the last 16. As I said, you've got to play everyone anyway. So whether you play them in the final or whether you play them in the round of 16, is almost irrelevant. And I think there being no away goals this season is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased to see that rule go. I just wish they'd get rid of extra time as well and just go straight to the penalties. But I mean, we can't ask for too much. But just to wrap up this little section, George, I'll come to you first. I know he's kind of like head on the chopping block almost, but to pick a winner for this season's Champions League, who are you going to go with?
Oh, who did I say already? I can't even. I think I said to you, from all the finals that we've seen, you tend to, when you get to the final on your second opportunity, you tend to take it, and we've seen that with Chelsea as well. So I hate to say it, but I think Manchester City might go one step more. I just feel that they can almost play two or three sides in different competitions. They've got the squad depth. Maybe I think their biggest downfall is like PSG, where they're a bit almost obsessed by it, which Chelsea were for a long time. And sometimes that plays on your mind because, like Craigo said, it's putting all your eggs in one basket, and then actually becomes a negative rather than just kind of going with emotions. But I'll have to go Manchester City.
And Craigo, you're going to go, obviously you're going to go for Chelsea, are you?
Yeah, I'll go for Chelsea. I do. I think, I mean, if you wanted me to pick another side, I would probably say someone else would be PSG. But again, I do think they have got their deficiency. So I do think that any side in this tournament is very much there for the taking. So I will back Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to say Chelsea. I think we'll do very well. Ultimately, I'm going to have to go with someone different. I do think, and I've said it a couple of years before, I do think this year, it has to be this year for PSG. I mean, I think they probably had the best transfer window possibly ever in football for as long as I can remember. They've now got Lionel Messi. There's now no excuses not to win the Champions League for PSG. They've got everything they could possibly need. So, I feel this could be the season they do it. But obviously, I'd love Chelsea to do it. But